Hello, my name is Christopher William Jones, Savior 20061. It's been a long time since I've reviewed a book, and I'm done with this semester of college, so I may as well start right back at it. I have read two books since I last put a review on YouTube, so let's get to it. The first one was Full Dark, No Stars by the man, Stephen King, and it's a collection of 4 short stories, and the central theme of the stories is the effect that murder and revenge has on the different protagonists. In the case of 1922, the main character murders his wife in order to keep his farmland that she was trying to sell. And the main aspect of that story is the farmer and his son trying to deal with the guilt and the anguish that they have from committing that act. The second story is called Big Driver, and it is about this woman who is raped and her plot for revenge. Now the third one was Fair Extensions. It's about a cancer-stricken individual who makes a pact with the devil in order to transmit his suffering onto others, so that he is not affected. The last story is called. I actually can't remember the name of the last story. It's called Good Marriage, and it's about this woman who discovers that her husband is actually should I spoil it? I don't think that I'm going to spoil it. It's about this woman who discovers that her husband has a very deep, dark, and terrible secret, and how she plans to deal with that. And basically, I liked this book a lot. My favorite story was 1922, because it went into, I think, very extensive and very realistic depictions of how guilt would have an effect on a man and his son. Big Driver, I didn't like it as much because it seemed like it would go in the same vein as the first book, 1922, but it actually didn't end up with the downer ending that I was expecting. It actually ended up with a very positive ending, which is very strange considering that it was about, revenge. Fair Extensions, to be honest, I didn't really. People said that it was the funniest part of the book and it's also the meanest. Personally, it's hard for me to really say that I enjoyed this book. It was interesting seeing how the suffering was transmitted onto other characters from the main character, whose name is David Streeter, I think. Dave Streeter. But it's really hard to sympathize with Dave, because as you read on, you see that he's not really that great of a person, or he wasn't really that honest. He wasn't that honest of a friend. A lot of his suffering before the cancer, a lot of the grudge that he held against his friend was mostly due to the fact that he never had the courage to stand up to his friend, so that was really more his fault than his friend's fault. The fourth story, Good Marriage, I liked it more than the third. I probably liked it more than I did the third book, and probably more than I did the second book. But overall, it's probably the first story, 1922, that you're going to enjoy the most. As usual, the characters are developed pretty well. For better or for worse, you're probably not going to find yourself sympathizing as much with Dave Streeter, because he wasn't that nice of a guy. So it's a good book. I would recommend that you pick it up alongside other Stephen King short stories like Everything's eventual Just After Sunset, because even though Stephen King makes a lot of big novels, he's also known for his short stories, and many Stephen King fans like his short stories better than his novels because they don't carry on for as long, kind of like this video review. So check it out, Full Dark No Stars, and I'll talk to you later.